And temperatures on the rise. We're starting to see plumbing problems arise.
Just another day in paradise.
Now many are being asked to boil or conserve water.
Roads and bridges will continue to clear as temperatures continue to get above freezing.
Many major highways and bridges have now been closed for nearly 72 hours. So when will they reopen?
We're being optimistic and you know, we also want to be realistic.
We get the latest as officials work to clear snow and ice and keep you safe. This is WWL Louisiana News at 10.
Well, 2 days ago, our WWL Louisiana crews watched the snow fall, and now we're watching it melt. And we're stationed all around the area to bring you the very latest, not only in the metro area, but on the North Shore and down the bayou as well. Good evening, I'm Devin Bartolotta.
And I'm Charisse Gibson. We'll have team coverage once again all throughout our news tonight. But first, some very important updates. There are quite a few boil water advisories in place, including parts of Orleans and Jefferson Parish, and everyone in St. Bernard Parish. While all across the area, you're being asked to conserve water.
Many schools and businesses have also made the decision to stay closed tomorrow, but trash pickup will resume for many tomorrow, including here in New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. We've been getting updates from officials constantly today, so you can always find the latest, plus more details on our website and mobile app.
And all day work has been underway to reopen those interstates and bridges, with the causeway expected to fully open tomorrow at 9. And before you leave your house, you can text the word roads to 504-529-4444. We'll reply right away with the latest updates from local officials.
Let's check in now on our forecast with what you should expect tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. Chris, it is still pretty cold out there.
Still very cold outside. Thankfully, the temperatures in the metro area are not at freezing. Now, a few locations north of the lake, actually most, are all below freezing. Up in Macomb, 35 degrees, but upper 20s and low 30s. We could see at times some of those roadways refreeze, anything that melted and didn't evaporate. Now, on the South Shore, it's not as likely, as temperatures still are expected to get a little bit below freezing. We are in Belle Chase, Galliano at freezing, Raceland, Laplace is at 31, but 36 Kenner, 38 degrees at Lakefront, so nothing has started to refreeze, and hopefully temperatures won't be below freezing for very long. Only expecting it for a few hours overnight tonight. Just like putting water in the freezer, it doesn't freeze instantly, it takes some time, and so those roads aren't going to freeze instantly as soon as the temperature hits 32. Now, it is going to be a cold night. We're under clear skies, good visibility, looking out toward downtown, and we are still expecting more 20s and lower 20s at that north and more mid-upper 20s west of the city. Again, in the heart of the city, I don't think we're going to have any issues with roads refreezing. Still patchy areas of ice, certainly, but I don't think it'll refreeze. And also, we won't have to worry about pipes in the metro area. Now, pipe weather in pink, that's for the North Shore and areas west, even down the bayou, Thibodaux and Houma. Want to make sure that those pipes are still protected. And we'll have one more freezing morning after tomorrow morning, Saturday, to start the day. So I do think we'll still have some patchy areas of snow and ice even going into Saturday. The good news Saturday is that once we get above freezing, we won't get back below freezing. This is as cold as we get Sunday morning. Maybe a frost in northern St. Tammany and Washington Parish and Pearl River County, as temperatures will only be in the upper 30s. So relief is on the way. We just have another couple of days to get through, but with plenty of sunshine tomorrow and highs near 50, we're going to see a lot more clearing of the roads. We'll have a more detailed update of the warming trend in a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Over the last couple of days, we have seen the snow and ice begin to melt, and the thaw began to reveal some plumbing issues for many.
Yeah, like in St. Bernard, where the water situation is dire. The parish's reserve tanks are depleted, and crews are working to fix broken water lines caused by the freeze. People are running water to protect their pipes, and that ultimately led to a water shortage.
Well, right now, residents are under a boil water advisory. They're being asked to conserve water.
Lily Cummings is in St. Bernard tonight. Lily, how much water is left?
Well, Devin, Charisse, I have some numbers here to share with you. The parish president told us tonight that they can produce 9 million gallons of water a day, but as people were trickling that water from their faucets during this freeze, they were using about 12 million gallons a day. Now, they do have a reserve tank, as you mentioned, and that holds 10 million gallons, but at one point, that was depleted to 2 million gallons. Now, he's hoping that by 6 a.m. tomorrow that they can catch up, but in the meantime, residents are getting getting pretty desperate here in St. Bernard. We spoke to a family that's boiling snow to flush toilets. They followed the parish's instructions and stopped using water this morning, but even if they did, the pressure wouldn't be strong enough to wash dishes or clothes. They are even keeping their kids home from school tomorrow because they haven't been able to bathe. The family tried to buy water, but most of the stores weren't open today, and those that were didn't have it.
Very difficult. You don't realize the need for water when you don't have it. We can't bathe. We had to brush teeth with bottled water. Thankfully, we have bottled water. We did not plan for this, so we didn't stock up.
And of course, St. Bernard is not the only parish asking folks to conserve. Most parishes in our area are. Now, what that means, folks, is that they don't want you to use any unnecessary water. So no long baths, no laundry, no dishes if you don't have to. And this, of course, is just until that water supply can be replenished if we all work together. Reporting live in St. Bernard, Lily Cummings, WWL Louisiana.
Tough situation there. Thank you, Lily. Again, as Lily said, other parishes are experiencing problems as well. We're seeing issues here in New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, and more. Some communities are under boil water advisories, and it bears repeating, pretty much everyone else is being asked to stop dripping the faucets tonight. Limit washing clothes and dishes to conserve water. We'll have more detail from around the area throughout the show.
And looking live at the roads around New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, work has been ongoing throughout the day to clear snow and ice off interstates and bridges here in the metro area.
Earlier tonight, the CCC reopened one lane in both directions. It's been slow going on and off, but right now it's moving pretty smoothly. Still, it's best to continue to avoid crossing the bridge if you can.
Well, today, Eleanor Tabone witnessed DOTD workers clearing those roads, and she's also been keeping an eye on flights out of Armstrong International.
Yeah, some flights are resuming today, and more are expected to tomorrow. She joins us now with the latest.
DOTD crews are working through the night to clear our roadways, in particular I-10. Snowfall in Louisiana is not common. The snowfall we saw on Tuesday is being dubbed as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But because we don't see snowfall regularly, we don't have the infrastructure or machinery to deal with it. That's why DOTD is using construction-like machinery to clean it up and reopen our roadways.
We are definitely making progress, and the good news is that all of these crews that are coming in, we're increasing the number of crews that we have in the area as they come down from Baton Rouge, and everybody is sort of coming right here to New Orleans. This is where we are. We know we need the help, and we are getting it, and things are going to start moving faster now as we have more and more crews.
Meanwhile, over at the airport, flights resumed Thursday afternoon. Flight staff tell us that plows had to be brought in to help clear the runway.
There was some snow accumulation on the runways and on the airport access roadways for the public. And fortunately, we were able to work with the city of New Orleans to get a team of snowplow operators out to the airport to clear our roadways and to clear the airfield.
DOTD says they hope to have all our roadways open sometime tomorrow. On the interstate, Eleanor Tabone, WWL Louisiana.
At New at 10, we've learned that the New Orleans RTA will begin limited bus service at 9 tomorrow morning. Now, they'll have 44 buses running on key routes until 7 p.m. You can find a list of those on our website, and RTA says they do hope to have all buses and streetcars and ferries operating again by Sunday.
On the North Shore, the Causeway Bridge is only open to first responders tonight.
Yeah, officials expect to reopen the bridge to everyone at 9 tomorrow morning. We'll, of course, keep you updated on that.
Meg Ferris has been tracking progress and joins us from Mandeville with the latest.
The big question everyone has tonight is about the Causeway. So here's the latest. So here's what's happening with the Causeway. They are letting first responders, which includes doctors, nurses, fire, police, even people who work on the roads, cross in one lane from both the north to the south and the south to the north. That is just for tonight. By tomorrow morning, they hope to have the whole bridge open for the public. That's by 9 a.m. So stay tuned, because if more ice forms overnight, that could change. Now, back to roads. They are expecting the twin span to open tomorrow, but stay tuned and also check 511la.org, and that is the Department of Transportation and Development, to see if any of the roads that you want to travel on are going to be open. Reporting from the North Shore, Meg Farris, WWL Louisiana.
Again, the best way to find out what's open or closed is to visit our website. We have pages dedicated to road closures, plus announcements from schools and businesses. We can also send that info directly to your phone. Just text the word roads to 504-529-4444. We'll reply with a link to the latest.
You can also use our smartphone app to find those updates and to watch our live newscast. Just search your phone's app store to download a copy for free.
We continue to monitor the latest as snow melts after this week's historic snowfall as flights get back underway and more parishes deal with water problems.
Plus, something we might not be aware of in southeast Louisiana, the cold weather can actually lead to injuries.
One of the things we've been seeing the last couple of days is just a lot of falls.
How you can keep yourself safe and healthy over the next few days.
We still have a few more mornings of freezing temperatures, but the warm-up is on the way.
All right, we've seen a lot of melt off today, and you can see the difference on the roadways in this video we shot yesterday versus this live look from I-10 looking toward downtown right now.
But with this thaw out, we also started to see some plumbing problems across the city with multiple water main breaks. Amelia Strahan has more on how New Orleans officials are responding.
The Sewerage and Water Board said those calls started coming in this morning and they didn't stop. You can see there are crews working behind me here on Felicity Street. Some of them neck deep in the ground working to repair those pipes. The Sewerage and Water Board officials say crews started addressing water line problems as soon as the ice started to melt off the streets this morning. And from Lakeview to Uptown and the West Bank, they've responded to around 20 different water main breaks. Residents on Hawthorne Place called the Sewerage and Water Board bright and early this morning. They say their lines aren't reliable on a good day, so when water pressure got low, they knew bigger plumbing problems would be ahead.
Everything here was covered in snow, porches, everything. And just before we went to bed, I happened to look out the window, out the door here, and I saw two different leaks bubbling out of the street. There was now water running down the street. Just another day in paradise.
The Sewerage and Water Board are asking people, if you hear water running under your home, go find your main line and shut off the valve. And that could help prevent situations like the ones you saw behind me. Reporting from the Lower Garden District, Amelia Strahan, WWL Louisiana.
And again, a number of boil water advisories are in place, including parts of New Orleans East and all of Venetian Isles. To see the full list and find out if your home is included, you can head to our website, WWLTV.com.
All right, everyone talking about the temperatures tonight, and you see that melt off, and you said that eventually that will probably freeze overnight at some point.
More likely on the North Shore. South of the lake, it'd probably be more on the elevated roads.
Right.
We're going to dip below freezing south of the lake, but not for very long and not dramatically. If you remember, at this time yesterday, we were already in the upper 20s, and our low for today was 21 degrees at Kenner. That tied the old record that was set back in 1963. It was a frigid morning, and so cold outside right now, but not as bad as we were last night. At the moment, 36 degrees, so we are above freezing. And also notice dew points are in the lower 30s, so it's just below freezing. The temperature can't get below the dew point. Now, the dew point may drop a little bit during the overnight, but I don't think dramatically. So I really do believe that in the metro area, we're not really going to see much of that melted water on the roads refreeze. Certainly there are going to be patchy areas. Don't let that surprise you, because there are areas that were there late this afternoon that are definitely still there tonight. Now on the North Shore, as temperatures start dropping further below freezing and staying there for longer, we have the greater likelihood, I should say, of it refreezing on the roads. But both sides of the lake still have the standing ice and snow. Now temperatures by tomorrow morning will be around 30 degrees waking up early, but quickly getting back above freezing. So the melting will start sooner and we will stay above freezing much, much longer. Kind of the same in Hammond. Now North Shore, we're going to be getting a bit colder, but getting above freezing sooner, and with plenty of sunshine, staying above freezing a little bit longer, not quite as long as we will be south of the lake, but we didn't have as much snow on the North Shore. Now temperatures tomorrow morning. Again, a hard freeze north and near the hard freeze criteria out to the west, even the northern Bayou region. Same thing for Saturday, but by Sunday, we are staying above freezing. In fact, once we get above freezing on Saturday, mid-morning, midday, we stay above freezing. And so that's why I've said Sunday will be kind of like the day that all of this is gone. We're not going to be back below freezing, and temperature Sunday will be in the 60s. So pipes and maybe the greater likelihood of some refreezing on roads. I don't believe we're going to see much refreezing south of the lake tonight or tomorrow night, but 2 more nights of freezes, and then we're out of it as we get into the day on Sunday. So we did see decent melting all day today. We will see a lot more of it tomorrow. Light freezes on the South Shore for both tonight and tomorrow night. However, in those shaded areas, there was still significant snowpack as well as ice, and I do think that would likely still be an issue even going into Saturday morning. So definitely the roadway issues for tomorrow morning, but maybe even some patchy areas as we head into our Saturday morning. Then the weekend, we're in the 50s, then 60s, and it is done. High pressure, but a little bit of high cloudiness kind of moving in this evening, and that'll be with us at times during the overnight period, and then mostly sunny skies. So again, with lots of sunshine, that will help to melt the vast majority of the snow and ice. And this upper pattern of keeping the cold air in place, this is another upper trough that is sweeping through right now. Really, all it's doing is reinforcing the chilly temperatures, thankfully not bringing back teens, but keeping us cold. And the upper pattern is beginning to shift. What had been that deep trough that brought in that polar, remember the Arctic air from actually Russia, Siberia, that came our way, that's going to be in place through Friday and going into Saturday morning. Then that cold air starts lifting north, and even with another polar vortex over more east of Hudson's Bay, no additional frigid air starts moving in our direction. That generally stays across the northern plains into the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, as well as up into the Northeast. So significant cold there, but it's not coming back down to the Gulf Coast. And our temperature likelihood as we wrap up January, head into February, so really starting on Sunday as temperatures get into the 60s, it looks like we're going to wrap up the month and head into the start of February warmer than average. So the thaw begins and will continue right through the end of the month. So another hard freeze on the North Shore for tonight and again for Saturday. As we head into the next couple of days, though, we may still see some of those patchy areas of snow and ice. Especially, I was really surprised driving into work how many areas just in the shade had significant snowpack still on the ground. It just shows you how dense and voluminous the snow was, that it's just taking a while to melt. Thankfully, though, temperatures have been getting above freezing, and we are seeing some melting. That will really continue on through Sunday, and I think by Sunday it'll all be gone, and certainly just a distant memory as we head into next week with high temperatures in the 60s.
Still closed between Amelia and Des Allemands.
Since yesterday, though, a lot of other roads and bridges have opened in those 2 parishes, including Highway 1 to Port Fourchon. That's what you're looking at right here. Though the split to Grand Isle still is not open. Also open Highway 24 and the Schriever overpass.
And like many, those parishes are also dealing with low to no water pressure. Rachel Hanley has been in the Bayou parishes the past couple of days, bringing us the latest as they work to get water running again.
Yeah, we're here in Thibodaux, and we knocked on a few doors earlier today in the downtown area, and most people said that they did have lower water pressure this morning, but that it's returned to normal by now. The 2 main issues with water pressure today are coming from water usage from people dripping their pipes over the last couple of nights, and also line breaks from the freeze. In Terrebonne Parish, the Water District says it's dealing with multiple line breaks from the freeze. Last we heard, it says it was slowly able to turn some lines on, so people in some areas should be getting their pressure returned soon. We also know some areas did not lose pressure at all. We knocked on some doors in Schriever and some in Gray, and they said that their pressure had stayed pretty consistent overnight and into today. In Lafourche Parish, a spokesman told us that Raceland and some of the Bayou Blue area is the last to be getting their pressure back to normal. A lot of other people never lost it in the first place, and some of it had it restored earlier today. We talked with Lafourche Parish President Archie Chasson earlier, and he says that by the end of today, almost everybody should see their pressure back.
We did have a couple of mainline leaks last night that were repaired, but just because of the huge surge on the system, the water plant had a hard time keeping up last night. So at some point during the night, we use the term shut in the plant, right? But they basically stopped sending water out to let the system rebuild.
As you are starting to get your water back in these two parishes, though, make sure you check to see if you're under a boil advisory before you start to drink it. In Terrebonne Parish, about 8,800 people are under two separate advisories right now, and all of Lafourche Parish is also under a boil water advisory. In Thibodaux, Rachel Handley, WWL Louisiana.
Now, many parts of the U.S. are experiencing severe winter weather this week, but because we're not used to this sort of cold, we're often not as equipped to deal with some of the health risks.
Now, one of the biggest falls on slick ice. So as Lily showed you the other day, it's best to shuffle your feet like a penguin when crossing ice.
It definitely is. Another danger you might not know about is actually shoveling snow.
There's clearly an association between the exertion of clearing snow and provoking chest pain or angina.
So to help keep your likelihood of having a heart issue down, don't scoop and pick up the snow. Instead, push it out of the way. Also, the very young and very old have a harder time regulating their body temperature, making them more vulnerable to the colder temperatures.
Children have a high metabolic demand, and their body surface area compared to their weight, they lose heat quicker. And then older folks don't regulate their temperature as well, or they can be on medications that can affect their blood flow and their blood pressure.
Another thing to keep in mind, the cold air can tighten airway muscles in people with lung conditions like emphysema and asthma, causing shortness of breath or a severe asthma attack.
And stay with us. We'll have one last check of your weather as we continue to monitor conditions around southeast Louisiana.
Canal Street, the only one that looked back to normal somewhat. Yeah. But again, a lot of folks on the roadways, please be careful. There are still areas of patchy ice. We'll continue to see the patchy ice tomorrow. We will see more melting, but just the vast volume of snow, I think it's still going to be issues on even Saturday morning. Now, Saturday, once we're above freezing, we don't get back below. Low 50s for highs on Saturday. By Sunday, back into the 60s.
All right, well, take a look at this. Humans were not the only ones having fun during this historic snow. The animals at the Audubon Zoo also got out to play. The otters, black bears, and more took some time to enjoy the vibe.
This is so cute. For some of them, they probably felt right at home, because for a few of these creatures, like the alpacas that we showed you Monday, it's actually closer to their usual habitat. And other than these moments of playtime, most of these animals are being kept nice and cozy inside.
Leave them alone, Chris.
What?
Yes.
I wasn't
Had to have been so confused, right?
No, Chris was trying to shave an alpaca.
Back in Minnesota.
No, I mean, alpaca, you can make an alpaca sweater, so I thought, well, we ought to shave him.
He needs that wool right now.
I need that wool.
Do you really, Chris?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody out there does, though.
My goodness. That's all the news for now. Thank you for watching.
Animals are never safe for Chris Franklin.
No, they're not.
Never.
Have a great night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.